If crowded places make you feel like you're slowly being erased, you're not antisocial. You're overstimulated. And your nervous system knows something most people refuse to feel. Picture this. You're at a party, a mall, a concert. Bodies everywhere. Voices layering over voices. Someone brushes past you without acknowledgement. The air feels thick. Your chest tightens. Everyone else seems fine. Laughing, moving, thriving. But you're calculating escape routes, not because you hate people, because your system is screaming that something's wrong. Here's what's really happening. Hating crowded places isn't a personality flaw. It's a signal. Your body is processing something the crowd is ignoring, a level of chaos, unpredictability, and sensory overload that most people have learned to numb. You didn't fail at socializing. You just never installed the filter. Let me break it down. Number 1. Your nervous system treats crowds like a threat assessment exam with no right answers. In a crowded space, your brain is tracking exits, facial expressions, sudden movements, volume shifts, proximity violations. It's running a background scan on dozens of variables simultaneously. Think of it like this. Everyone else is watching the movie. You're monitoring the theater for fire hazards. You're not paranoid. You're just refusing to outsource your safety to a crowd that isn't paying attention. But here's where it gets complicated. Number 2. Crowds dissolve identity, and you feel it viscerally. When you're surrounded by too many people, something strange happens. The boundaries of you start to blur. Your thoughts feel slower. Your preferences feel quieter. You become aware that you're performing rather than being. It's like trying to hear your own heartbeat in a stadium. Most people find comfort in merging with the group energy. You find erasure. You're not fragile, you're just unwilling to disappear. And that brings us to the part most people miss. Number 3. Your dopamine system doesn't reward you for chaos. It punishes you. Crowds are unpredictable, loud, sensorially dense. For some people, that randomness creates excitement, novelty, a dopamine bump. For you, it registers as noise without meaning, stimulation without narrative. Your brain craves signal, not static. It's like being handed a puzzle with pieces from 12 different boxes. Everyone's celebrating. You're just exhausted trying to make sense of it. You're not boring, you're pattern sensitive. But there's a deeper layer here. Number 4. You're not avoiding people. You're avoiding energetic debt. Here's what no one talks about. Every interaction in a crowd costs you something. A stranger's glance, a laugh you didn't understand, a conversation you're expected to mirror. Each one is a microtransaction, and your nervous system keeps perfect records. By the time you leave, you're not just tired, you're overdrawn. It's not introversion, it's energetic accounting. You didn't choose to be this way. You just can't afford to pretend the bill doesn't exist. And that's where it gets weird. Number 5. Crowded places amplify the feeling that you don't belong, because you're comparing depth to density. In a crowd, connection is fast, surface level, transactional. People are performing belonging, not feeling it. But you're wired for something slower, more intentional, more real. So when you're in that crowd and everyone seems fluent in a language you never learned, it's not because you're broken. It's because you're measuring intimacy while they're measuring proximity. You're not missing out. You're just playing a different game. And here's the beautiful contradiction. You hate crowded places, but you don't hate people. In fact, you often love them. Deeply, specifically, 1 or 2 at a time. You're the person who remembers what someone said 3 months ago, who notices when their energy shifts, who makes people feel seen in a way crowds never could. You're not cold. You're selectively warm, and the world needs that more than it needs another person who can tolerate noise. You're the reminder that presence isn't about volume, it's about depth. But let's be honest, sometimes this trait becomes a cage. If you're avoiding all group settings, if the threshold keeps shrinking until even small gatherings feel unbearable, that's worth noticing. Because there's a difference between honoring your nervous system and letting fear make every decision. You don't have to love crowds, but you also don't have to let the avoidance become its own kind of isolation. The goal isn't exposure therapy. It's discernment. Learning which spaces actually drain you and which ones you've just been taught to fear. You get to rewrite that line. If crowded places make you feel like you're drowning in shallow water, listen to that. Not because it means you're broken, but because it means you know the difference between noise and resonance. You're not missing a gene for small talk. You're protecting something rare, the ability to be fully present when it actually matters. The crowd will always be loud. But you? You were built for depth. And that's not a flaw. That's a frequency. So tell me in the comments, team small gatherings or team solo recharge? And if this resonated, you need to watch the next video, because we're diving into the psychology of people who need hours to recover after socializing. That one's going to make a lot of things click. See you there.